Hey everybody, welcome back down to Old Allen's. Forgot the tripod, so handheld today. Damn it!
Where's the next one then? That whole leg is doing. So, do you want to do so? Do you want to try and do that whole that there?
Right, so many of you will know that in the old log store I put in last year a floor. I think I've actually deleted those videos now because it was going to get really confusing for people. But I put in an old floor because I was originally going to build onto that before we got the trailer. Now that old floor was taken out with the help of Si and Sandy, Elliot. One weekend they helped me carry it over here, which is great. And now, because of the way we've positioned this container in relation to the old container, it means that I've now got the right amount of space to put that in between the two as a deck. Now there are certain issues with doing this, which I'll just run you through quickly. The Acer in the background, which was gifted to me, this beautiful Acer, I don't want to move it because it's lovely. I really don't want to move it. So I either need to cut the deck around it so that it steps over to the far end of this. Reason being, because this is so much bigger, so much wider than the other hut, I've pushed it back as far as I can over the drain line that runs through the field. So it's tucked well back out of the way, out of sight, down the field, you see, so it's well tucked in. Otherwise it would be out over here. And also this is the flattest area. This sort of top section next to this pipe all the way along the field is the flattest area of the field. So that means it's stepped back, which means if I were to line the deck up with this, it would be way past the other hut. But if I line up with the other hut over yonder, I'd miss out a load of, so the deck would come to sort of somewhere in the middle of this doorway, which is not ideal. But I think what I'm going to do is work on that principle that it will come across to probably about there, and then I'll just do an additional bit with a set of steps down, you know, as usual, making it up as I go along. But the important thing is the gap between this hut and that hut should be absolutely spot on and ideal for the deck. And I can add on the other bits as I need to, because I'll need to put steps up the front and steps off the back. The other thing, God, I'm waffling. The other thing is that this hut is a lot lower than this one. So this one, reason being, this one it's got wheel arches, so the wheels sort of like are tucked up inside it. And this one, the wheels are underneath entirely. So it's a much higher floor. So I'm going to have to set the deck to be level with the lower of the hut, and we'll just have to step up into the bigger hut. It's not a big drama. So that's today's project. Right, I've got almost no battery, but this is where we got up to yesterday. I'm going to have to switch to a cheaper camera, so sorry about that, but it's got battery. Deck is up, fabulous, well happy about that. We managed to get the deck up, stain the deck, and have dinner on the deck in a day. So that was with help from Tom, my brother, Ryan and Leo, Mary's children, Mary obviously, and we had a little bit of help from a couple of little younger helpers, 12 and 8, 7, somewhere around about there. I'm not good with children. That's Hayden and what's his name? Dave? Owen killed Dave. That's a different story. Owen and Hayden, so they sort of like were apprentice labourers as well. So despite being slowed down by them, we got quite a lot done, which is great. Yeah. Bit to do yet. So got steps to put up the front. You can just see put some bits up there. There's a bit of extending to do out the back, but we're getting there. So there's a rough set of steps built. Obviously they need staining in, but I ran out of stain yesterday. I've got to clear out all these bricks. They were just in as temporary levelling. Now these posts, I'm undecided on these. I picked these off a fire pile at the yard, bonfire pile, due to be disposed of, and I thought, well, I might put a little thing round or not. I might leave it as a floating deck. I don't really know, so undecided, but I've got the posts anyway, and if they don't come in useful there, then I'll use them somewhere else. Next job, coming up the steps, is making up a frame using these old beehive stands, because the beekeeper gave up keeping bees down here. He proved last year was too much for him. He couldn't get out here, and both of the hives that were in here died because they weren't looked after. Now he took his frames out to the gate, said he'd be back in a few days to pick the frames up because he couldn't fit them in his car. That was 2 months ago, so I'm going to use them. So basically I'm going to bolt them on to that side of the deck, so that then they'll come right out to the edge of that, and the front edge of them will give me a step down onto this area. So basically that's worked out rather nicely. One thing I didn't appreciate this yesterday, and you may not appreciate this on camera, but Mary said about it. Obviously, as I said, this hut behind me is higher than the original shepherd's hut, which is behind me. So I put the deck at the level of this hut.
But also his personal story is an important one. He cares deeply about the
and what's great is we can walk straight into the hut and straight out again. It's just fab. I mean, it's a level area. There's not that much of stuff up in here. So, it's just great.